I'm not sure this path has worked. Maybe it has. Maybe we'll just continue to soften them from the air, and that will be enough. So we're not in the briefings.
What do they want is the question I have.
The Iranians?
Yeah.
Oh, they want to hold out and we'll go away. It's what every Middle Eastern country that hates us wants. And you could say they've been successful. History would tell you that has worked.
And supposedly this mission is so that they don't get a nuke.
Right.
But
might very well have been successful.
It might take, I mean, this is what's super scary, is that I heard it mentioned today that they're able to use cheaper and cheaper weapons that are more effective. You know, a $2,000 drone. You know, and you're sending a $3 million Patriot missile to blow that up.
Yeah, wow. They'll hold out and hope that they have meaning Iran has electoral success in November, that the House flips, if not the Senate, probably not, but they'll hope that they get that. They'll wait 2 years. They'll love the negative headlines that may come out of this country, and hope that they get a regime change here. Ironically,
it's interesting too the Chinese impact of I mean they're teaching them how to do defense.
The Iranians.
The Chinese are infiltrating the Iranians a bit. There's just
well, they're our mortal enemy. I mean, that's not surprising. I'm sure the Russians are involved too. This is where we are. Not saying it won't be a success. I'm just telling you the jury is out in this country. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, there's just a lot of agita, if you will, a lot of anguish. Hi, you're live on Talk Erie with Dino, Joel, and Shaney on Talk Erie. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that if this Iran thing requires Americans to step foot on Iranian soil, American military that is, the midterms are gone.
It's probably astute evaluation. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
I would agree. That can't happen.
Yeah.
So how do you win that war then? You know, I will. It's politically a quagmire. It might not be militarily. It might not be. I mean, we have to. The world's probably a safer place today because of the action. Is it worth it? I don't know. Will it hold out? I don't know. Will ultimately regime change happen? Will the world be safer 5 or 10 years from now because of this action? Those things.
Well, there's some things that are going on too. There's a new emphasis on building pipelines to avoid the Strait of Hormuz. We're talking about a 20-mile stretch is all this is. Right. That is creating a havoc on a fifth of the world's oil supply. I heard it mentioned today about, we still have to buy oil from the Middle East because their oil is the heavy crude. That's the stuff that we use for gasoline and things. The oil that we produce, that we're producing a ton of, is the sweet light crude, and that's used for different products. And so it is a global market. And so there's no way of isolating the United States away from being involved in this global market. So, that's why our gas prices already shot up 25 cents in the past week.
Yeah, overnight. I got it. The day it went to 423 or whatever it was. I'm such a moron. I can't even figure that out. But that's what people know. People might not know Iran is a danger to the world in this country. I mean, they know it, but it's not top of mind. Top of mind is, here we go again. Gas is 423. And it's summer, and there's supply and demand. And there's a lot of that. But when you run on these types of things, Trump was very clear about these issues. And he's very popular over his issues about energy, about gas prices, about the economy. And I think he's been distracted by this in an effort to get world peace, which is incredibly admirable, by the way. But people know the gas is 423. They don't necessarily know what's going on in Iran. And that's what's happening in this country right now. I'm not a military expert. I am pretty good at politics and pretty good at this type of stuff. And the country is not happy. Steve Scully said it. He was in that half hour we talked about these things, that they are top of mind and they should be concerning to the party in power currently.
I want to take the break early because I want to get to this concept that we talked about a little bit with Steve Scully of could the Democrats flip the Senate? The House is almost gone. Did you see the fellow that passed away? Allegheny County congressman.
Yeah.
71, 72-year-old,
yeah.
73.
Retired, right? He wasn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't current, was he?
No, I thought he was still. Yeah,
I thought
maybe
he
was
retired.
retired. Maybe he was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that is not as critical of a situation as I thought. But losing Lindsey Graham, and I don't think you're going to have a Democrat in South Carolina necessarily. But
Correct.
It's very interesting the kind of the churn. That North Carolina could be like gone.
Steve Scully said it is.
It is gone, yeah.
So
which is shocking to me. All right, we're talking to Dino. He's our political guru. We've got people from East County, Center County, West County. They all love this Monday at 5 when we break down over politics. We're having our political breakdown. It's on Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. You got Talk Erie on your radio and online at 105.9, 103.3, and AM 1530. All righty. Before we go back to the phones, I got to get your expertise here on what Steve Scully was saying, where basically there is a pathway for the Democrats to take over the Senate, which I think Trump's second term is over if that were to be the case. Now, first off, let's talk about Maine. The Democratic debate in Maine was kind of a joke. Mm-hmm. Did you see some of that footage?
A little bit.
I was like, are you kidding me? These are your top candidates, So I'm not sure Susan Collins loses in Maine.
I don't think so. Too much baggage. Now you have a candidate who's not inspiring in the way Graham Plattner was in his own unique way, in Troy Jackson, not inspiring, and you've angered all the Democrats who knew much of this about Plattner, but surprisingly still voted for him. I can't figure that, but still did. So, and you've got this moderate Susan Collins who continues to win elections anyways, even though she seems to trail in the polls leading up. So it'd be an uphill battle for the Dems in that
Michigan is one of those places where, again, you have a Democratic Socialist that's on the rise, and it's interesting how in New York they're all in favor of. They're all lean there. In the Midwest, there's a major pushback. Even Nancy Pelosi, in the far West, is like, we got to stop these people. They're going to ruin our party.
Yeah, you are really. Van Jones came out over the weekend. James Carville, certainly. Now you see Pelosi. They are really worried. And Fox now is all socialist all the time. They are really pushing this idea that all Democrats are socialists and they're ruining the party and you better not vote for any Democrat ever. So, the Democratic Party has a problem there. But Michigan, anything's possible.
Seriously.
Won the primary.
Yeah.
Right? Is that?
Yeah.
I saw Bernie Sanders and AOC that were there over the weekend or whatever recently, right? I don't. Who's the Republican? Mike Rogers?
I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty steady. I don't. And he mentioned. So I don't know.
He mentioned Ohio.
A little bit.
Sherrod Brown. Sherrod Brown is a household name.
I think he has been.
Yeah.
I think that time has passed. Maybe it's a little closer because of the national politics. And Democrats are enthused about anybody who's going to work against Trump. So you're going to see some of that off your election. I don't see Ohio. Iowa, I thought was an interesting one that he brought up. Steve Scully brought up Iowa. I haven't looked that closely.
Neither have I.
As much because you don't think about it.
No.
And he mentioned Texas, and if you I think you said if Texas goes blue, that's wave like you haven't seen. And
that would be. Yeah, that's a 1994 type of wave. Right. If Texas goes blue.
Right.
I just can't see. In 1994, that was the contract for America, and it was this red wave like we never saw.
Obama lost a lot of seats in his first.
He got a shellacking, as he said.
He did, as he said, and learned their lesson. I don't see the Senate flipping. I just think it's a bridge too far, and I think the Democrats still have some problems in their own party. Because the Democratic Socialists are saying we're going to take out the Republicans, but we don't like the Democrats either, who are pro-Israel or whatever, who are against their entire agenda. So I don't think they can garner enough votes to win in swing states. You might win one here or there because the candidate is so dynamic.
But it's four that they have to flip.
Yeah, and that's not
and the math has been against them the whole time.
Yeah, I don't see that.
And the New York Times bringing up. This woman that got the Democratic nomination pulling out so the independent could run in Nebraska. I mean, you think that's going to be a challenging thing? I don't see it.
Right.
Let's grab another phone call here. Hey, you're live on Talk Erie with our political breakdown. Go ahead.
Yeah, I seen that debate in Maine. That was different, and. If that is what you have on your Democratic side, that's why Susan Collins gets elected, because she is she's a pretty weak Republican, really, if you think about it.
She's right down the middle, yeah.
Yeah, she even goes a little left just to get elected, I think.
Okay.
But we don't need Democratic Socialists, because that's one more step from that is communism, and every socialist country in the world has failed pretty much. Cuba's failed, Venezuela's failed. Russia or the USSR, the United Socialist Republic, that failed. Why do they keep? People are just gullible for getting this. They're getting promised a prime rib dinner, and they're getting an all beef hot dog, maybe.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's an insult to hot dogs.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. Take it easy. You too. Bye-bye. Let's sneak another one in here. Hi, you're live on Talk Erie. Go ahead.
Hey, kudos for Dino while you were out, man. It was great having him back on.
Yep.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
As I'm watching these things go on, and I just hypothetically think, what if Fetterman said, hey, I want to carve off another party. We're going to be like the Democrat of old. And all of a sudden we start moving towards a coalition-type government instead of a two-party. But the negative is you do that, and the Republican Party stays sort of the same, loses some numbers to going to the centralist Democrat. They still be majority party and then take most of the elections. So I think they're going to fight hard against breaking off from the extremes, even though they don't like it.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call. I'm not sure our system works beyond two parties.
Yeah, it's just it's so much work.
I mean, you look at what the Reform Party. If anybody could do it, would be Ross Perot. You had Pat Buchanan. Trump ran on reform,
Sure.
or at least was dangling.
It's
with
just
it.
you've got to get candidates. You have to raise money. You have to be established. I think the road, if John Fetterman wants to stay in politics, and I don't even know that's possible at this point.
Yeah.
But the road is just go independent. You're in an independent state essentially in Pennsylvania, where you have a lot of fans, and just try to win it that way.
He is an enigma, isn't he,
without
Senator
a doubt.
Fetterman? Because the concept is that, oh my gosh, you should just join up with the Republicans. If you look at his voting record, it's very aligned with the Democrats, especially on most things.
To the caller's point, though, the Democrat Party they're very different now. So the Republicans have this whole MAGA thing, right? It's pro-Trump, but still conservative. You run down the issues. MAGA and average Republicans, you could call them rhinos. I'm saying average Republicans who just maybe aren't all Trump all day, he's everything, would be very lined up on the issues. Democratic socialists and true blue-collar Democrats, like in this area, are very different people. They wouldn't agree on hardly anything. So I guess the possibility of another party, like he's saying that, I don't think it would be Fetterman, but I think it could happen because I think they could break saying we don't believe in the Democratic Party. We're going far left. We need our own party. If they can't convince their rank and file to come on board with all these socialist issues, and right now that's where they're at. That's what they're trying to do. Then they'll be left out in the cold. But all that remains to be seen. It's a fascinating time, but that's the only way I see a third party happening. I don't think it's Joe Manchin and John Fetterman starting the third party.
Yeah.
Right. That's just not how it's going to play out.
And are there young Democrats that are more in the line of a Fetterman, of a traditional, small L liberal approach? I
don't know. I hope so.
Well, I mean, you would think that you could be pro patriotism, pro Israel, pro managed immigration. Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't have to be. We need to give away everything, open the borders, and basically they're anti-law enforcement, anti-ICE.
Sure.
I mean, there's some radical items on the Democratic Socialist agenda.
And that's what Van Jones said, one of the big Democrats in the country.
Sure.
One of the strong voices said over the weekend, these people have got to go. You can't be listening to these people. They cannot have influence.
I think Stephen A. Smith is in the same boat. Like, they're like, okay, that's just way too much crazy going on over there.
Sure.
So,
but they're gaining momentum. And I will tell you, I said this 2 weeks ago, I said it last week, filling in for you. There is a certain momentum with these young people who believe in this idealism. And you can't ignore that. We all know it's crazy, right? And you hope that most of the country does. And today they probably do. But they have tapped into, they are unhappy. There is no doubt of it. And they have tapped into something and they are gaining momentum. You should not ignore that.
I got 30 seconds. Do you feel that Democratic Socialist approach is making an impact even in local politics here in Erie County, Erie City?
Absolutely. In Erie City, yes. In Erie City.
I'm
Not in the
here.
county.
I feel like that's what we're hearing
In the city,
mostly from the podium.
Yeah. And those
every
people
2 weeks.
Yeah, and they're getting elected. Not in the county, but in the city, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. All right. We got a break for the news at the bottom of the hour. Dean Pepicello is with us here. We're back live on our live, local, and award-winning radio talk show here. It's the Joel Natale Show. Stay with us. It's our political guru, Dean Papicello, joining us here from our Kingdom Financial Group studio. Dino, I want to play you what the mayor said about this recognition. But really, it started with Realtor.com. And then it was picked up by the New York Post, which just exploded across the country. Here's what the mayor said about that good news here. All right, so I want to get your opinion on that. Again, you are used to having opportunities for growth and expansion, and a builder will come in and build 20 houses or whatever. What's your thoughts on that? And again, she was talking about Erie, but it's really Erie market, the whole thing, as being affordable.
Other than she said I don't know. I missed the first.
Okay, I'm sorry. She was saying that we need to be thoughtful about
right,
it. It's good news, but we don't want a lot of out-of-town investors swooping in and buying up and running up the market.
And making them rentals.
Yeah.
Well, what percentage of the city of Erie is rentals now?
It's huge.
More than 50, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I would think. So how's that going to...
How do you manage growth so that you're, not gentrifying people out of their homes or...
Okay. I will... Well, this is me.
This is you.
I can't... Harbor Creek and Fairview are not the city.
They're not the city. Yeah.
So I feel like I'm not sure I can be... I'm not sure how accurate I can be.
But okay, just from your worldview,
Yep.
though.
No, and if I were the mayor of the city of Erie, I would play it the same way I play it in Harbor Creek. I'm going to let the private market make that decision. That's what I'm going to do. The government doesn't do, other than probably war and building roads, and even that's questionable, the roads part. Government doesn't do anything better than the private sector. I would incentivize the private sector, and the market then will reflect that, and the city will be the best version of itself. So if it's out-of-town buyers, that tells me that people here don't want to own homes or can't afford to own homes. Oh, it's like, so be it. You can fix. We don't like out-of-town buyers because what? They're not there fixing their apartments. Then we have methods to do that. You can do that by ordinance. You can require owner-occupied. You can do maintenance-related things. So you can. I think the private sector needs to drive it, and then government, certainly in a Rust Belt town like this, needs to incentivize. You can do it through zoning. There's a lot of power in local government without saying, well, we don't want anybody from out of town build. We don't. Listen, we want single family homes that are owner occupied.
Yeah, sure.
Of course that's what we want.
Yeah.
Then let the market do that,
but
and
we need
incentivize it.
We need to figure out a way to just get more houses built. That's my thing.
We do?
I think we do. I think we have a housing shortage.
Or just rehab what we have.
So the essence of the article was that, we're the second most affordable, yet, and what they were basing it on, too, that we were the second hottest market is because our homes only stay on the market half the time of the national average. Instead of 50 days, it's 25 days. The houses I hear about that are most desirable, let's say in the Frontier neighborhood, they're literally on the market for hours. 24, 48 hours, period.
Right now, yes.
It's just too hot of a market.
Oh, so
let's start building some stuff.
Add to the supply.
Let's add to the supply.
Where's the city going to add to the supply when they're built out? I mean,
they're not though. That's the thing.
Some areas. Yeah.
You've got areas that need to be recycled, kind of like what the Sisters of St. Joseph are able to do. There's neighborhoods. Let's say I'm going to ask the mayor about this. The near Select Specialty off of West 10th and West 11th. I mean, there's parking lot after parking lot after parking lot. You could put 40 homes.
Then why aren't private developers doing it?
That's the key.
Exactly.
That's the key. I think they need incentives like you're talking about.
Yes.
Let's grab another call. You're live on Talk Erie. Thanks for waiting.
The chief government. I remember some years ago, Joel, I put in a new water service, and you know what the city wanted to do, or what they had their regulations, like a $5,000 bond to break ground. No plumber wanted to do it. It's over-regulated. We talked about that instance out in Mill Creek as well, where a friend of Kevin Nelson's son-in-law wanted to buy the Montessori school out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I heard all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They made him put in the sprinklers, right?
Slapped a bunch of regulations. And the sprinklers, that's because of union lobby. That's why they have to put those in. They didn't have to put. And an elevator, Joel, this is a story-and-a-half building. An elevator. Crazy. That's what happened. You get government slapping regulations on people. And the city just went to go, the inspections in-house. That's to make money. And they're all political appointees. And I told you before, they don't know what the heck they're doing. My mother-in-law had some city inspectors come by. She got 2 inspectors to come by, and she had a flat. It wasn't any big deal. 2 different stories.
Wow. Yeah. Just
they're
different things.
Appointees, so
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Bye-bye. Yeah.
That's pretty accurate. The elevator and sprinklers, those are state building code issues.
Okay.
You want those changed, lobby the state legislature. Right. That's what you have to do.
But when you're getting different stories from 2 different inspectors,
it's subjective. Building inspection is subjective, and I don't like it either. And the way we have handled it, we have added other inspection companies so people can choose. You choose, right? You like this building inspector because he or she looks at things a different way. I'm not saying licks and sticks, but looks at and it's very subjective. So we let people make their own choice. That's just where we've gone with it, and that's worked pretty well.
Let's talk about the state. The governor signs the budget last week. It didn't take 4 months this time. It took 2 weeks. What do you think?
Not surprised. We predicted it. Election year for the governor.
Okay.
Nobody wanted to drag out again. I think there was a lot of compromise. The governor said that in his thoughts.
They kicked the can down the road, though, Dean.
But they didn't
deal with skill games.
Nope.
They didn't deal with vouchers.
Minimum wage.
They didn't deal with minimum wage.
Nope.
Come on now.
Nope. They'd have been there forever. They don't want to be there forever. They were there forever last year, and nobody wanted to do it again. So everybody kicked the can down the road, compromise, call it what you want. Both of those things happen. Welcome to divided government.
Yeah.
Right? Is Pennsylvania one of the few legislatures that are
sure is.
Right?
But again, you have critical issues with the skill games.
I'm surprised that they didn't take that up because of the ruling from the state Supreme Court that this thing's going to expire in 120 days. So it'll be the first thing they take up, I suspect, when they come back in the fall.
When they come back, okay.
Yeah, that's got to be. It'll be out of control. They have to regulate it. We're all rushing locally to write ordinances for the skill game thing because the state didn't got to get their act together. So I think they will.
Again, this is a free country. You get to do whatever you want to do, mess up your finances if you want. But it makes my heart hurt when I'm at a store and I see somebody belly up to a skill game, and it's just apparent that this is not coming out of their largesse. That this is coming out of, they're just squeaking by.
Well, look at online, right? Online sports gambling.
Oh my gosh, the sports gambling is horrible.
I don't really have an opinion on it. I think, get yourself under control probably was my first blush. But those are issues, without a doubt. They're issues that have to be addressed one way or another. They're not going away.
All right. Okay. What is on tap here? we kind of last time we talked, it's because it's been a couple weeks. We were just going through kind of the big holiday weekend, right? Two Mondays ago, we had the events in D.C., in Philadelphia, in New York. How and like, where is the president at right now? Like, what do you think? Is he holding his own? Is he improving his position, or is he in a deep dive of uncertainty because of is the war coloring everything coming out of D.C.?
Well, there's not a poll that would tell you he's doing well.
So no bump from America 250 that you could see.
Not that's been out yet. Maybe some polling was done, but no, not that we've seen. His numbers aren't unusual. Obama was in the same place at the same time. You could say the same about Bush. It's not atypical that a president goes through this, but I think Trump's ceiling is probably lower than theirs was. I think. I think that they're in trouble. I think, and the Republicans know it. You're seeing Republicans kind of break from them on some of these things. I think that they're nervous. And I think the main thing keeping the game right now is the Democrats aren't any better off. Wow. They have bigger problems than the Republicans. But history has written that it's a difficult time for the party in power. And that's the headwinds that they're facing. I think Donald Trump, if he had focused, if he had stayed out of the Middle East, and I'm not here to judge politically. It might be the greatest thing ever in the history of the world. He might go down as the Middle East peace president. It could be incredible. I think it's tough to do, but it could happen. But if he had avoided that, if he had stayed true,
I think it's easy to do when you're dealing with places like the Emirates, where they have, again, it's run by a family, yet they're very well in tune with the economy and what's happening with oil.
Sure.
And obviously Emirates is like the number one airline in the world. I mean they have built an alternate economy. The Iranians, they seem to be hell-bent, sorry my French, on Armageddon.
But they're the flashpot. They're the problem. They're the issue. If you're going to solve the problem, you have to go to it. He's not treating the symptoms. He's trying to cure it. So I'm not.
Yeah.
You're asking me about his numbers and where he is.
Yes.
And I think had he avoided that, he'd chosen to avoid it. Maybe he couldn't, right? Maybe the world's a better place because he did do that. Had he chosen not to, he'd have stayed. If he stays with immigration, it solves the problem. I think that violent crime is absolutely down. The transgender thing, the economy has been better under Trump when he is focused on it. That's a reality that history would tell you is a fact. If he had stayed with those things, I think he'd be incredibly popular and the country may be in a better place. Maybe, because we don't know about, again, the ultimate, what happens here in the Middle East. So I think that's where he's at. I think most presidents, aside from FDR, haven't had great numbers during wartime, right? They just, because you have to be forced into it, basically. I mean, World War II is a different thing, but the numbers were never, nobody likes a U.S. being involved in the Middle East. It's necessary probably, but nobody likes it. So his numbers are going to reflect that. But I think he is punting some of his popularity on the IFCOM that the world would be a better place and he becomes consequential. I think that's a reality of what's going on right now.
He wants to be consequential.
He's a very good domestic president. He is. He will go down that way. History will write. I think that he was a great domestic president, that he was unfairly treated. Yes, that he shot himself in the foot occasionally with who he is. Yes, unpresidential, all of those things. But I think history will write he was a pretty good domestic president when he focused on those issues. So I think that's where they're at. Still has time to come back around. I don't know if it's time to save the House in the midterms, but I don't know if anything would have saved that. But I think that's where he's at. I think it's 38% approval rating.
Yeah.
Probably pretty accurate right now. There are Republicans who are very unhappy with this military action.
That's where I want to end us with. And this whole idea of all of these Republicans that have turned their back on the president, whether it's Tucker Carlson, Candace Owen, Alex Jones, Marjorie Taylor Greene, obviously Tom Tillis and Bill Cassidy, and Massey for sure. Comment on this. Ben Shapiro calls them the horseshoe right, that they're basically people on the right like a Tucker Carlson who's agreeing with people on the extreme left. And it, like Israel seems to be kind of the driving force for a lot of this.
It's
the antipathy against Israel.
That's tough, but the reason is Trump is love him, hate him, don't care about him. He is the most influential person in the Republican Party today, and maybe ever. Ever.
Wow.
That's how influential he is. Look at the names you just mentioned. These people have been regarded as incredible conservatives. Right?
Yeah.
Incredible conservatives, incredible in their field of media or government or whatever they do. They've all been cast aside. And I mean, Tucker Carlson still does really well. They've all lost elections, or they're going to lose elections, or they've just gone away because they've
Tom
become
Tillis
irrelevant.
Bailed out.
I mean, this is the power of Trump and MAGA in his own party. So these people, when you choose not to follow Trump, this is the fate that you suffer. Maybe history will write that they were right or whatever. They walk away with their principles. I've often thought, what would I do if I disagreed with them? You know, I don't know that, but they've had to make that decision. So this is all because he is the most powerful person in that party.
I got to leave it there. Dino, thank you so much.
You bet.
Does MAGA show up for voting on
Not all
November?
of them. Not all of them, no.
It's going to be a turnout race, isn't it?
Right. Enough of them maybe, but not all of them.
Wow. Thanks, man.
Yep.